Today we're going to revisit a story I think I've told in my early years on YouTube. I'm going to tell you again because there's so many new people. I worked with vintage clothing and I put on a lot of shows, and I didn't put them on. I displayed my products at shows, vintage clothing shows in LA. So that entailed loading all your products, your clothing, which is very heavy, and driving it all the way from the San Francisco area to the LA area 4 times a year, setting it up as if you have a small booth, and displaying your clothing and selling it. So you had a complete store set up. And it was like an 8 to 10 hour drive, and I always rented a U-Haul truck. But I wanted to talk about the incident with Mark Harmon. I met a lot of movie stars. I told you guys about Keanu Reeves. Oh yeah, that was, yeah. I'll tell you that again, but that I do have a video on that. And I think I have a video on this one. But this is for the new people. Mark Harmon was a very nice man, and I recognized him. I didn't know who he was. I just knew I had seen him before. And I'm very bad about, people. Recognizing people, movie stars particularly. He was a very nice man, and he came to every show. And this man, over, I would say a year, like 4 shows. It was about the 3rd or 4th show when his wife came to me. But he would go by, "Hi, how are you?" And I'd go, "Hi, how are you?" And that was the first show. He really didn't pay me a lot of attention. How are you doing? He was very nice. He would go along, and I'm going in my head remembering. That's why my eyes go up. He would be very nice to all the vendors, and he'd chat and have conversations. So my first show was kind of in a corner, so I wasn't near any of the LA people, so I didn't know who he was. My second show, he came by my booth. "Hi, how are you?" And he chit-chatted with me for a little bit, and there were some LA girls across from me. They were always across from me. And they'd run over after he left. "Do you know who that is?" And I go, "No, I don't." "Mark Harmon." And CSI was it CSI? NCIS. He was the lead character, and he was very popular at the time. Quite famous. Becoming quite famous. I did not know who he was married to. I had no clue. Remember Mork and Mindy? Anyway. So he came by the 3rd show. I think it was around the 3rd show he came by. I wouldn't speak to him. I said, "Yeah, nice to see you." I wouldn't chit-chat. I really kind of ignored him. I kind of gave him the cold shoulder. It made me very nervous. I get very nervous and I shut down. I realize this now. When I meet movie stars or somebody who's, like a YouTuber like Bob Wells, I shut down. I pretty much do. I have a difficult time with it, I don't know if it's intimidation or whatever it is. I'm always afraid to say the wrong thing, because I don't think they're any better than I am, Anyway, I would not talk to him. I just kind of gave him the cold shoulder and just refused. So the next show, I did the same thing. The next thing I know, Pam Dawber. And I don't know it's Pam Dawber. This woman walks in, and I recognize her. I don't know from where, but I recognize her. Pam Dawber from Mork and Mindy. I would love to have met Robin Williams, but he never came to these events. Pam Dawber was really into vintage clothing, particularly movie stuff. So Pam Dawber comes in, and she looks exactly like she looks on TV. But I'm 5'3", at the time I think I was 5'4.5". She's tinier than me. She's shorter than me. She was like a size 2. She was tiny. She was gorgeous. She was just lovely. She comes up to me and she goes, "My husband wanted me to come talk to you." And I said, "Your husband?" And she goes, Yes, my husband is Mark Harmon. He thought you was a very nice lady, but you're giving him the cold shoulder. He's kind of upset that you won't talk to him. And I go, well, I don't, he's a movie star. And she goes, what does that mean? I go, that means that he's wealthy, he's a male. I have nothing in common with him. I just don't. And she goes, well, what have you got in common with me? I'm a movie star, I'm wealthy. I go, you're a woman. We have children. We can discuss our health issues. We have a lot in common because we're women. And I'm not as intimidated by you as I am by a male movie star. I have absolutely nothing in common with them. Starting with him being a male. And she and I talked for a long time. So she went out and she got him. And he came over. And I apologized to him. I said, you know, I'm really nervous around you. You're a movie star and blah, blah, blah. I explained why I felt more comfortable with Pam Dawber than I did with him. He understood. He was very, very nice about it. And I said, well, now that I know you're famous, could I get your autograph? He goes, no, not until you ask Pam for her autograph first. So they came back, I think, like the next show, and they were in my booth together, and I said, Pam, would you mind giving me an autograph? And it was on a business card. And she turned to Mark. She goes, you want to sign an autograph too? He goes, oh yeah, I will if you will. And they signed this business card, which I lost a long time ago. I don't even know where it's at. I lost it because I put it on a business card. That's all I had. And they were very sweet. And I would not say I had any kind, they were an acquaintance, someone I could say hello to. They were not friends. I was not in their, realm of atmosphere. Okay, I just wasn't, but they were very down to earth. And at one point he had a car crash happen in his front yard, and he pulled out a young boy and saved him. The car exploded and fire, and Mark Harmon saved this young man from this car wreck. And the news made a big deal about it. When he came in the next time, I said, boy, you're a hero. He goes, I wish they'd stop doing that. He goes, I'm trying to protect my kids from all of this publicity. He goes, I just want them to have a normal life. I want to be normal with people. I go, but you're not. You're a movie star. You're not normal. You'll never be normal, no matter how hard you try. If someone recognizes you, you're a movie star. We are not in your realm. You're not the neighbor next door. He goes, I know, but so him and Pam were very into raising their children right. They did move out of Hollywood a few years after that. I don't know how soon after that incident, because they made such a big deal about it in the news. He was trying to keep his family out of the news, and so was Pam. They wanted their kids to have a normal life. And those kids can, but they can't. Their parents are big-time movie stars, and the more famous he became, the worse it was. So they moved, I want to say Connecticut or back east somewhere, where nobody recognized them, nobody knew who they were, and nobody made a big deal about it. And I think they had a better life. I don't know. I stopped doing the shows and stopped seeing them. So, like I said, I wasn't friends. I wasn't even an acquaintance. I was someone that would speak to them and respect them and treat them like a normal human being, which was very important to them at that time. So I just thought I would tell you one of the incidents with a second one. First one I've already told you about. I met several of them. Keanu Reeves. I didn't know he was Keanu Reeves and never spoke to him as Keanu Reeves. So that was a disaster. But I was a disaster every time I met somebody who was famous. Never was comfortable with it. I'm going to let you go. I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you next time, and I give you my love.